I was at my son's school today, and the teacher informed me that my son has not been to school since May the 29th of this year. So basically, since the dad of my child took him on May the 30th, he has not been to school, which is quite ironic seeing that I am going to court with said dad of my child because he is accusing me of not sending the child to school. Well, one of his lying accusations for taking me to court falsely is that he said I am not sending the child to school. Ain't that ironic that the day that you came for the child, well, anyways, the teacher said he contacted her one time and said that the child wouldn't come in today. So she thought that it was just a 1 day thing. So I looked at her and I said, go check the login, go check the school log, because if he is at school, it will show that somebody signed out and there was activity there. She checked it and she said the last time she saw that my child was at school was May the 29th. And as I said, that was the last time that I sent him to school. And my name is the name that is logged out right there. So last week, there were exams going on. He missed all of that. And the teachers were there like, but we thought the child was with you. Oh no, honey, I don't have him. And he didn't even inform them that he's the one who has the child in his custody. So that I don't get bad name that I am the one who is not sending child. But that's just the point. That's just the setup of it all. That's what he wants to shape this narrative that I am the one that's not sending the child, because that's the lie he formulated from the get-go. So this just does not surprise me at all, one bit, right? And the same people who were on his side, um, saying all kind of stuff, basically playing sheriff and investigator into my life, bringing back reports to him, telling him everything, every move that I make, everything that happens pertaining to the child, are the same ones that are like, but we thought you had the child. We thought this was happening. We thought that, so it's all good and well to pass on information when it's the mother you're against, but when the father has the child, nobody knows diddly squat, and you're all like dumb, right? So he lied. All right, basically, he gave two lies and one false accusation. Okay, maybe I cannot call it a false accusation because it is true, right? Everybody been knows I have not been working for a while, right? So maybe that part is true. But the part that I have not been sending the child to school, he cannot use that anymore because he's the one that has had the child for weeks now, right? And the child has not been going to school since he had the child in his care. So he cannot use that anymore to carry me to court with. And the other lie, or assumption, is that the child is not attending speech therapy and behavior therapy. He has no proof. It is just assumption. He just wants so badly to try and prove to people that I am incompetent, because that is what he is telling them, obviously. So he formulates these things, and he feels like he making these types of moves is gonna scare me. But I'm not scared, because once a loser, always a loser. He has done this before. We have gone to court before, and he clearly did not get his way, whatever the thing was. He wanted to he carried me to court about some joint custody issue, right? He wanted joint custody, or every minute he's trying to move the goalpost to carry. He's basically committing litigation abuse, because every time he realizes that he's losing control of whatever situation and me, and he realizes that he has no say, or the domineering type of personality that he wants to present over my life, he realizes that he does not have a handle on it. He tries some kind of tactics, right? Either he has to carry me to court, call up some type of relative, be it my mother or somebody, and telling them, oh, she's this and she's that, and I'm the bad guy, right? So it's always some kind of tactics to regain control of what he realizes that he has lost. When he realizes that I am like, yo, I'm done with this shit. Leave me alone. Right? So yes, this is the second time around, as I have said. The first time we went there, he basically told a bunch of lies. I mean, if somebody is that bad of a mother, right? And you carry them to court, why do you have to lie? Won't you just tell the truth, and the truth will prove them to be what you say they are? No, he has to lie. Okay? So it reached a point where the counselor, because we basically was at the counseling part, he didn't take it all the way to court, right? For whatever reason, she called him back and he said whatever. He changed his mind. But clearly it was based on the experience that he went through, and he realized that he got nowhere with her, so I guess he just didn't go all the way at that time, because eventually she realized that he is not truthful. It reached a point where I brought up an issue where I identified that there was a type of abuse going on, right? I identified verbal abuse, I identified some other forms of abuse, right? And he actually turned it back around on me, saying, I am the one who was verbally abusive. I am the one who was doing these wicked things to him, right? He did not make any such report or claim in the report, which was why we were at the family court on that day. He said none of that. I was the one who brought up these things. So the lady looked at him and said, okay, the counselor looked at him and said, okay, since you said that rather it is not she that has been verbally abused and such abuse, it is you, show your proof. Oh, such and such, okay. He takes out his phone, starts scrolling, la da 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 da. So we're there sitting down, looking all over. Then we start talking just to keep some momentum going, because she's trying to understand some more stuff. The counselor is trying to understand some more stuff, right? He is there still scrolling through his phone. What is he looking for? I don't know. Like, present your proof, bro. Present your proof. He has no proof. All he could show was some text that I answered saying either I was telling him to leave me alone or something like that. And it was not worthy to say it fell under any of the abuse category that I was describing that he was accusing me of doing. It was like Man, that's not really abuse. That's just talking. You feel me? He could not provide one single voice note, a text, nothing, right? And he just kept on insisting every time I brought up a matter that I said, okay, he's saying that I am this and that. Well, this is the type of person he is. And then when she says, okay, present your proof, he cannot present a single proof. So she realized that I don't know if she realized that he was a pathological liar, but she at some point realized that he is a very dishonest person. I wasn't the one who told her that he was dishonest. She figured this out on herself because his very lies were the lies that sinked him in the end, right? So that was that. Eventually, she turned around. She started commending me. Good job, mother. You're doing a very good job. You know, do you? She started encouraging me, and you should see the look on this dude's face. Is like his face was turning blue with envy. You could see the jealousy in this bitch's face, like real talk, right? Then not only was it bad enough that you could see the jealousy, that I was getting some form of positive attention, he started to say, then what about me? So me look good too. Me this too. Me that, because she was complimenting me that yes, I put myself together. I seem like such and such of a person. You feel me? What about him? What about him? He wants the spotlight on himself, right? So you just know these types of person. They just always want attention. They are attention seeking, and if they even have to drag you out in the mud to get some form of attention, even if it's negative, just to carry you to court, just to get some attention, they will do this. They don't care how much it hurts your reputation, your character. They don't care how much people see you in a negative light. They don't care if people lose the, respect because of what they tell them about you. They don't care about the smear campaigns they've run against your name. They don't care about your assassination of your character. They don't give a shit. All they care about is getting attention. What about me? Nigga, I'm the victim here. You're the one with the smear campaign and the abuse and then carrying to court. You feel me? Now we're here a second time. And I told a family member, am I getting ahead right now? All right, let me go back a bit. So the reason why it come to this, right, a second time, since the first court and the counseling and whatever, we have still been having issues, right? A lot of the suggestions the counselor gave, he was like, oh, yeah, yeah, oh, okay, whatever, whatever, yeah. So we agreed that, everybody will work on something. Yes. We leave 1 week, turn to a month. It's the same old person. A leopard never changes their spot, right? It's the same old mentality. They say they're going to change. They say they're going to work with you. They say they're going to change their ways to accommodate a better, co-parenting atmosphere. And it's just talk. It's just chatter. Because at the end of the day, you realize that it, they behave for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, probably 2 months, and then they go back to the same abusive, toxic, uncaring, unempathetic self. And it's just evident that these persons are out to ruin you, to sabotage you, to destroy you, because how they act, how they talk about you behind your back, it is even in front of your face. It is just evident that they do not respect you. They don't give a shit about you. Yet they still want to be in your space. Like, leave me alone. So eventually, I was like putting my foot down. I was enforcing my boundaries. I was like, bro, you cannot still talk to me like this. You cannot still deal with me like this. I am not your woman anymore. I left his house and I moved. Well, I moved back to in my house where I was originally living before I met him. Okay. So at the end of the day, right, I moved out of his house with my child one day when he was at work, because that's how you have to do these toxic people, abusive people. Most of the times you just have to strike when they are away from the house, and remove yourself, right? um so he came home, I was not there, calling my phone. Oh, I can't believe you did this to me, blah blah blah. I'm like, you act like it's a surprise. You had it coming. You I don't see why everything should go your way, and I don't ask for much and nothing ever goes my way because you don't do what I suggest. If you are the one that causes chaos, when I put a solution, you don't want that, right? You don't want a solution that would cause harmony. You want a solution that would cause you to have control over me. That's the solution you want. So when I say, okay, you don't want my solution, what is your solution? They go silent. And if they do say something, it is something that you are like, this just sounds like signing up for slavery. Because what they are describing, you realize that you will slowly be signing away your rights to this person when you do it their way. You feel me? So I was like, no, I'll rather stay where I am. So as I said, I moved out and come back where I was living before with my child, right? If I had to start over again, that was just it. So here I was starting over, figuring things out, healing, and say, you know what, I'm not even gonna date again. I'm just gonna remain single, and I'm just going to uh focus on me, and be a better parent for my child, right? So this dude trying to get back into a relationship, that was what I moved out how long ago now. My child is about so maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago. Time flies so fast. About that, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Don't quote me on that. And since then, as I said, I've been working on my healing. I've been, seeking counseling. I've been really putting in the healing work, right? And, also focusing on my spiritual growth. I think I'll do a video about that, my spiritual awakening journey. Yeah, anywho, I've been focusing on all these things. I've been reading books. I've been really focusing on me and pouring into myself. Okay. So the more I have been doing that, the more I realize a lot of things, why they were going wrong, and the more I enacted my boundaries, was the worse things got, right? The more I spoke about the double standard with him, and the disrespect and the abuse, the ones that I could identify, I was like, No, I am not having it." So eventually, after he tried to, I don't know if you call it hoover, tried to come back into my life, and I had to shut him down, I had to turn him down. I remember the last time he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come over. I want to come over so you could do my hair, so we could spend time together." He didn't even say spend time with his child to, keep that relationship. He wants to spend time together, me, him, and the child. So I figured out more or less that it really was to get himself back into a relationship with me. But I realized it, I spotted it. I was like, no, you have not changed. You are pretending that you have changed. You are pretending like you are a changed person so you can pull me back in. And I've learned my lesson. I went back before one time because I had moved out before I had a child for him, and I went back to live with him. So I learned my lesson at that time. I was like, that ain't gonna happen again. I'm not going back. You crazy? I realized that you only speak that you have changed. When I observe your behavior, it is just smoke and mirrors. You say one thing today, and then tomorrow it's a whole different ball game. I've learned my lesson. Really? So I shut that down. Whatever hovering attempts and flying monkeys he sent talking about, whatever attempts trying to carry me out, to carry around whichever people trying to see if I would be impressed to say, okay, I'm coming back. I shut all of that down and I said, you know what? Focus on your relationship with your child. Leave me out of it, right? Anyways, time passed. People have moved on. I don't know if they have moved on, but I know I have, right? The journey has not been smooth, but I have moved on. Let's say that, hmm, time has passed and, whatever progress with his life has been visible. And, I keep my journey to myself, right? My focus was always about my child. My focus was always about pouring back into me. Okay. And I made no excuses or apologies about that. So when I see that he's constantly trying to counter parent, crossing certain boundaries, and, basically, even if you don't teach the child to disrespect another parent, by you disrespecting the parent in front of that child, you are teaching the child to disrespect the parent without teaching the child to disrespect the parent. You know what I mean? So simple little things like I remember one time he was on a video call with the child, with my child, right? And I went into the my bedroom. I went into my room. I was like, okay, you're on a video call with your dad. I want some privacy. So I left the living room and I was going into my room. So I see that my son was behind me. I was like, where are you going? I want some privacy. Aren't you on a video call talking to your dad? I want some privacy. So I told him that and I was trying to close the door. He tried to block the door from being closed. And he was putting on this face like, oh, I want to come in the room with you. I was like, no, you're on the call. I want privacy. You didn't when I was doing what I was doing, you were not, paying me any mind, any attention when you were on the call with him. So why is it that as I get up and go into the room and say I am getting myself some privacy, all of y'all want to come and tag along behind me? And you're still on the video call. And I said I want some privacy, right? So that is teaching my child that, there are times when you just have to understand that when mommy says she wants privacy, she just wants privacy, even if it was just 2 minutes. Because he's on the video call with his father, I deserve my privacy, right? I would think so. Here comes his father on the line. What you mean by privacy? You think nobody want know about your life? Nobody no business, but like something like that. It's like he was saying, son, pull push the door, push her out of the way, and just go in the room if you want to. Screw her and whatever privacy she wants. Nobody gives a shit about her life. What is she trying to hide? It was like he was saying that without saying that. You know what I mean? So subtle little behaviors like that is counterparent, because when you're teaching the child one thing, right, to respect people's boundaries, mommy says she wants some privacy, give her a little privacy if it's even 2 minutes. But here is the toxic, dysfunctional other parent telling the child, uh, who does she think she is talking about privacy? Uh, don't listen to her. Go in the room if you want to. Like, what kind of father figure is that? You feel me? So it's simple little stuff like these that I could identify that I was saying. I branded them under different types of abuse because they were abuse. And basically, as I said, counter parenting. Nobody should go through that feeling like they are disrespected, especially if you say that you are both raising a child together, right? So after that incident, I pulled back my energy. I stopped talking to him as much as possible as I could. If it was not about the child, nah. So it reached to the point where I eventually just went to the point where I just went, I cut him off totally. I was like, you know what? I don't care if you have a child here living under my roof with me that you need to speak to. Um, you are going to learn that your actions have consequences, right? And you don't get to disrespect me and violate my boundaries anymore. I'm going to cut you off. And I basically blocked and deleted his number and anybody who was associated with him. I didn't care who they were, whether it was his father, whether it was his auntie. I don't care who they were. I blocked them. I saw them calling me. I didn't give a rat's ass. I blocked them. I saw him telling others to call me because people were calling me on different phone numbers. Oh, the your child's dad said you should contact him because he's trying to get you. I'm like, no. I eventually one time I said to the last caller, if he really wants to talk to his child, since he cares so much, let him get the child a phone and he can call the child on that phone with that same number. And he's not going to use my phone because he has always been using my phone and they always seem to disrespect me and my stuff. So give the child his stuff from you and you can contact, you know, your son and speak to him on his phone that he will be responsible for. So you don't have to contact my phone, right? Anyways, I think I'm going ahead of myself because something happened, right? Something happened at the school that he was a part of. He was a part of, like, basically storing up information to use against me later on, right? Using people at the school as informants to aid in some kind of sabotage that he was plotting against me. So when he reached out to me regarding that, he said, "You know what? Don't talk to me anymore." So he hung up the line, and I said, "You know what? Oh, he said don't deal with him anymore. Okay, fine. I took up the phone and I blocked his number. Like maybe not that same day, but I pondered it and I was like, maybe I should block this mofo. Maybe it is just the universe giving me a sign, say yes, this is the beginning of breaking free. He's saying he don't want to deal with you anymore. Block his ass. So that's exactly what I did. Probably a day after or so, I just blocked his ass and I was like, oh, that's that. At least I thought that was. Until they started calling my phone and I was like, what? Then this effort said to me that he didn't want to deal with me anymore. Like, when you think you've got the freedom, they just crawl back in. You're like, oh, there's your freedom. Go. There's no chains holding you here, nothing. Right? Anyways, fast forward to this point now. He calls one day, rings the phone, and I see the number. I'm like, this number looks familiar. Anyways, I still answer it. I hear his voice on the line. I knew it was him, so I didn't say nothing. I put the phone to my son, and he was playing around. He wasn't really speaking. He heard his dad's voice on the line, but he wasn't really speaking. He was running up and down and laughing. So he started to speak on the other end. He was like, daddy coming for you. You hear? Daddy coming for you. Then he disconnected the call. 2 hours or so after that, I hear him outside in my yard calling, right? He took the child that day and some clothes. He put the clothes in the car with the child and then he came back. He's demanding that I give him birth paper. He's demanding that I give him such and such. Mind you, we have two birth papers for the child. He has one, I have one. So he's coming to my house demanding that the birth paper that I have, I should give it to him because the one that he has, he left it. I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Wherever you left it, go back for it. Because I will not be giving you my copy. Because we have two. You have one, I have one. Anyways, he came back into at first he came back to the veranda because I did not invite him into the house. He stood on the veranda. He came back on the veranda. He said to me, he wanted some more clothes or something like that. I went for it. Then I come back into my hallway. I realized that he comes into my house uninvited. I did not invite him. He was on the veranda, right? He got the child, he got the clothes, he left. I thought he left. He put the child in the car. Then he came back asking for more stuff. I went for them. Then he comes into my house. I did not invite him inside. I looked at him and said, could you excuse me? Get out of my house. I did not invite you into my house. He's not moving. No, no, I'm not leaving. You invited me into this house. I was like, oh, I would remember if I had invited you into this house. I did not invite you into my house. Get out of my house. He's not leaving. I said, okay, I'm going to call the police. Oh, me, I go call the police too. So, anyways, I squeezed through the hallway trying to get past him because I was like, why is this mofo trying to make my life difficult? He got the child that he asked for. He might not have gotten the birth paper, but he got the child, he got the clothes. Why the F is he still in my house bothering me? Well, I didn't even invite him in the house. Anyways, I tried to squeeze past because I was like, no, you need to know that the exit is this way, right? Without me saying it, that's what I was hinting. While I was trying to pass, he reached out trying to grab my arm. I was like, I swung my arm out of his grip. Well, he didn't really grip me but he did touch me, but it wasn't like to grip my hand to maybe it was an attempt to do that, or maybe it was an attempt to touch contact or something else. You know what, people, when they're doing things or trying to hurt you, they want to touch you, because I remember somebody said one time that witches and warlocks, they would try to touch you and say, oh, I'll pray for your ear or touch you by your forehead. Them I try to siphon your energy or put some curse by you, just the touch. it was just so weird. Why you come in the house and antagonizing me? You feel me? So I draw my hand out. Anyway, it still touched me. I felt weird. Anyways, I stood at the door while he crept his little time, call up his one of his boys, telling them how I look weird and all type of descriptions, trying to beat me down, trying to lower my self-esteem. So I was just, what I was in my mind was, when will this mofo come out the house and leave? So I've had enough at this point. I took up the phone and I started dialing I think it's 119, right? I think it was 119. Anyways, the Jamaican police number. And would you believe that the first time the call went in and I said emergency, I'm having some form of domestic dispute, and the call got disconnected. So I called again. So he's on his call, telling his friends all type of mean stuff about me. And he hears me reporting to the police. Then he's coming into my conversation. Oh, what kind of domestic? I'm like, nobody talking to you over here. You should come out of the house. So, anyways, I tried calling the police a second time. This phone ring. It's like, it's not connecting. I try a third time, it's not connecting again. I was like, what kind of voodoo is going on here? Oh man, because the first time it connected, so why is it giving trouble now? Anywho, that was just some bad energy. So, well, of course, you're around some narcissistic people. I would expect some bad energy to take place. You know what I'm saying? Because they're demon possessed and all. Yes, so eventually he left because I guess the ultimate aim was to plant seeds of doubt and whatever in my mind, but he clearly realized it's not working, or whatever impact he thought he was gonna make, it didn't hit, right? That didn't hit whatever he was trying to insinuate into my mind by speaking all types of nastiness against me, negativity. It didn't connect. So, anyways, I wasn't even listening to that. I was not having that. I believe that whatever filth comes out of his mouth is lies. Therefore, it is not truth. So I don't listen. I don't entertain it. Okay, so fast forward to he leaves and he comes back probably a day after or so. I think he came back two times. He came back the other day. I think he came back for more clothes or shoes. And then he came back the Monday again. Right? All this time I was like, oh man, will these people leave me alone? He came back the Monday asking for, sorry, for me, he called me out. He saying there was this constable such and such. I don't even remember his last name. Anyways, his friend obviously come to the house to give me a summons, talking about, oh, you're going to court. So I take the summons paper and I read it, and it says you're asked to come down to answer to such and such. And so I was like, so what am I going to answer to? Right? Because I realized that the piece I had, you could tell that it was stapled, but the stapler thingy was not into the paper. So either means that there was more than one paper, or this paper was stapled to something. So I asked, so what am I to answer to? It says come down to answer to something. What am I to answer to? That's when the police said, oh, go, pointed to him and said, go in the car for the affidavit. So I was standing there like seriously. Anyways, he goes for it and then the officer gives it to me. I look at it. One lie, maybe number two was correct. Number three was also a lie, right? Number one is basically an assumption that, as I said in the beginning, that the child was not doing um, speech therapy and those therapies, and that the child was not going to school under my care. Which, as I said, I found it quite ironic because now that the child is in his care, the child has not been to school in over a month. Over a month. The child has missed exams, right? Anyways, that's where it's at. As I said, we're going to court, and I'll give you heads up on it. It's not even for you, really. It's for me to document so I can look back and say, yes, this is what the piece of shit did to me, and at least I can look back and say, oh, there's my evidence. There's my younger self when I was learning my lesson and going through the shit and fixing all the shit that, when you have been sleeping with the enemy, it has caused all of this. And then your eyes have been opened, and then you're going through all the cleanup process and kicking people out of your life that don't belong process. Yeah. So I'm documenting it in real time, really. Okay, so uh third time going to court. uh Two different narcissists, two different occasions. Oh my goodness. So we'll see how it goes.